Some Kiwis call it the Pearl of the Pacific. Others prefer just plain Wellington. And the Windy City turned on one of its four-season specials for the annual Rock Around the Clocks last Sunday. As expected, pole setter Emanuele Pirro blitzed them off the start in the 6-speed M3. With rain pelting down, Peter Brock elected an immediate stop for wets, which he believed would pay dividends in the long run. Brocky was a sight to behold on fresh rubber. He was on the charge and gathering in both Tony Longhurst and race leader Pirro at 9 seconds a lap. The rear coachwork was definitely in need of repair on the mobile machine, but it stayed intact till the sun reappeared before coming adrift on the run to the first turn. Unfortunately, the former Welly winner was pit-bound soon after with a broken pinion seal, though he was still philosophical about his tactics.
With wet weather tyres, I was trying to get through to the first petrol stop, first scheduled stop. We calculated that it was probably quicker to keep going and lose time than to come in and, lose the 50 seconds in and out time. So that was the tactics. It didn't work out that well.
Dick Johnson was another in strife with the new Falcon EB. The car had proved virtually fault-free till a mysterious shutter told him it was time to pit.
Coming down the back on the wharf here just before to come over the Shell Bridge. I don't know what happened to the front right end, but I was just fortunate enough that it happened early enough where I could slow down so I didn't hit the wall, but the vibration just got bad all of a sudden going down Jervis Quay.
Johnson's luck went from bad to worse when a steering failure sent John Bow into the concrete for the heaviest crunch of the day. Pirro handed over to Joachim Winkelhock while holding a good lead over Tony's B&H BMW. It was a snappy stop and gave Emanuele time for a well-deserved breather while his team played the waiting game.
Yes, this you're right. But I promise it's not a nice... The second stint for me is worse than the first one, definitely.
The race was packed with incidents, none more spectacular than this up and over from Martin Fine in the Suzuki Swift. Paul Morris handed the Bimmer back to Longhurst with second place still secure. But Tony immediately picked up the pace as he took off after Pirro. Then tragedy struck the front runners. The engine had gone off song in a big way, and their dream of a 5th win in the Nissan Mobile Classic was over.
Yes, this is right. But obviously you always want to try to achieve the best, and we were here to make it 5 in a row. Luck was not with us. It's a pity. I hope we can come back next time.
Pirro and Winkelhock's misfortune gave the lead back to Longhurst. But he had Brock in hot pursuit. As the race went down to the flag, local Paul Radicic picked up second, but there was no argument about who had won.
That's not a good way to win a race, but like I said, I thought I was going to lose my life last year, and I'm very, very happy to win the race this year.
Meanwhile, in Sydney this week, some good motorsporting news with Castrol's managing director David Scanlon announcing a major sponsorship initiative with the signing of touring car ace Larry Perkins and 10 times Australian sprint car champion Gary Rush. The two high-profile privateers have virtually financed their own racing operations for years.
I'm what I am, and I'm delighted that now I can go forward with a proper team and a proper program and really mix it with the pointy end of the Group A team, and it's a great feeling, I can tell you.
I'm sure we would have been still racing, but unfortunately we probably wouldn't have been able to race the way we wanted to. But now that Castrol's along with us, and very much welcome.
Perkins remains one of this country's biggest motorsport achievers. From Formula One to Tours, he's been there and done it all, including 3 Bathurst 1000 victories and last year's Sandown 500, where he played tortoise amongst the hares. Touring car racing enters a new era in '93 with the move to 5-litre Fords and Holdens, which has turned the Perkins engineering business around after a mid-year slump.
4 or 5 months ago I was down to 6 people, and 1.5 years ago I had 18 people working for me. I'm now rehired, and I've got 10 people full-time in my business, and that's all because of the absolute positive impression this new formula of V8s has given to everyone. There's sort of new hope there. It's reachable. You don't have to ring up Japan or ring up the middle of Germany or wherever for your machinery to go racing. You can walk down to your Holden dealer, buy a Holden, or in the Ford's case the same, buy a Ford. People can relate to it, and we can have some good racing.
Castrol's signing of Rush couldn't have come at a more opportune time. He's achieved everything on the oval tracks and was contemplating a retirement, a move he's now had to put on hold for at least 3 years.
But I love it, Mike. I really do. I think if, you know, I've spoke about retirements. You know, you have a few crashes, you have a bad period, you talk about retirements, but really, I don't think I'd do anything else about racing.
Gary faces a busy Christmas-New Year period in Sydney, turning back not only youngsters like Brooke Tatnall, Skip Jackson and Steve Brazier, but also America's world champion Steve Kinser, who opens his national tour at Parramatta this Wednesday before moving on to Geelong's Avalon circuit on Friday. But according to super veteran George Tatnall, it's his kid who'll keep them honest.
Yeah, we're very happy. Brooks been running very hard in the Winfield Shell car, and we're very happy with his experience that he's gained in America the last 6 months, and with the advent of Steve Kinser coming back to Australia next week, and Gary Rush in the Castrol car, we're looking for some very good duels.
Tatnall Sr. was lucky to escape this wild ride at Parramatta Raceway on Friday night. He described it later as an occupational hazard. And while Rush was hopeful of giving his Castrol team a first-up win, he took a back seat to the Adgip entry of Wayne Skipper, who beat Bob Tunks and Peter Murphy to the line in the 25-lap premiership round to set up the clash of the year against Kinser on Wednesday. Mike Raymond for Sports.